Hi, and welcome back to the DPEF podcast format. And today I wanted to ask the question about whether or not Britain interferes in foreign elections. And the reason I'm asking this is about Nick Clegg and the Facebook ban on Donald Trump's right to appear on the platform that was extended for another 2 years. And Nick Clegg was kind of instrumental in extending this ban over in the United States. He works for Facebook. He's in charge of banning the free speech of political leaders. And obviously he was Deputy Prime Minister in Great Britain during the David Cameron period, 2010 to 2015 or something like that. And some people might say, well, David, Nick Clegg, he's a private citizen now. He's able to do what he wants to do. We don't really have any control of him. And this always goes back to my argument of really, really strong, strict ethics laws on former prime ministers and former leaders in the political realm to curtail their activities after they leave office, where they are determined to profit financially, so that the decisions they make while in office are not geared towards personal enrichment. I mean, we've had David Cameron in the news lately with the Green Seal crony capitalism scandal. Tony Blair's constantly in the news trying to make money, trying to force people to take vaccines, trying to get people to, trying to discriminate between the vaccinated and the non-vaccinated. Theresa May's been out there trying to keep foreign aid as high as possible, rather than ask the question about why are Britain not on the receiving end of foreign aid? Why are we always the one giving foreign aid? And going back to Nick Clegg, the reason I'm bringing this up with the Facebook ban with Donald Trump is it extends the Trump ban on Facebook until just after the 2022 midterm elections in the United States. So he's not able to appear on the platform through this next election. And people say, well, look, David, what's it matter what Nick Clegg does? What's it matter what happens in the United States? And the reason it matters is because Britain made a big fuss under Theresa May. Must have been about 3 years ago now. There was a big dinner in London and Theresa May came out and really castigated Russia about interfering in British elections. There was this big rumour going around at the time that Russia had interfered in the presidential election of 2016 and that Trump had colluded with Russia. And Theresa May decided to sort of pick up on this theme and accuse Russia of interfering in the Brexit election and kind of like interfering in, I guess, her election with Jeremy Corbyn, where she basically lost. She got a reduced majority in Parliament, when she was trying to get a bigger majority in Parliament. Instead of sort of saying, hey, maybe we need to appeal more to the public, or maybe we need to do more exciting campaigns, she said that it was the reason that, Conservatives were struggling in elections, or the reason that Brexit had won the election, was because Russia had interfered. And she made this big statement about Russia, saying, stop interfering in our elections. And it sounded about as pathetic then as it does now, but it made it pretty clear that the British establishment does not like foreign interference in elections. And so why then do we stand by and allow Nick Clegg to interfere in American elections? Why does the British media not come out and say, hey, look, Nick Clegg needs to stop doing this? How can we castigate other countries for interfering in our elections if we're going to interfere in other people's elections? And some people will say, look, Donald Trump, doesn't matter about him, not a big deal, we're not interested. But yet, how about someone like Dick Cheney, who was Vice President of the United States in the early 2000s? What if he was working for a company that was eliminating the free speech of British leaders? Maybe someone like Keir Starmer, maybe someone like Jeremy Corbyn, maybe someone like Boris Johnson. What if that was happening? Would we as Great Britain say, oh yeah, that's fine with us, that's not a problem? Or would we say, no, we don't want interference in our elections and we shouldn't be interfering in other people's elections? I think all this goes back to integrity. I mean, if we had a governing class of people that had integrity, these sorts of issues would never come up. But we have a governing class of people that are, lawless people. They have no respect for the law. They have no respect for civil liberties. They have no respect for, the customs of other countries. And what's most ironic about this story is that America got its First Amendment of the right to free speech from Great Britain. They got the idea from Britain. It was in the English Bill of Rights. Every citizen has a right to free speech. America said this is a great idea, or the founding fathers did. They said we're going to put this in the US Constitution. We're going to put it as the First Amendment because it's the most important. And it's pretty ironic that a former British Deputy Prime Minister is now stifling the free speech of a former President of the United States. I think it's a total disgrace. I think it says everything about the standards that the British government has now, which are extremely low. It's an organised crime racket, and it's amazing how few people have talked about this in the media, how the media has been totally silent on it. Hugely disappointing. How can we demand high standards from the way other countries treat us if we do not follow those same standards when we are interacting with foreign entities? So I hope you like this podcast. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll talk to you soon.